Mark Searles is here to talk about tomorrow's commutes because both of them could be a little problematic, right?
Yeah, I would certainly favor the morning one to have a bit more of an issue than the evening, but still there could be some slick spots this time tomorrow. Although the gist of the bulk of the system may be gone by this time, there still could be some lingering slick spots as temperatures hover near freezing. Here's the timeline. Morning snow. It starts up around 7 a.m. Now that could be as early as 6, maybe as late as 8 or 9 a.m. So we're still, going to have that window, but it's definitely going to be impacting the morning drive because once that snow comes in, it may turn heavy and look nasty for an hour or two, and that could quickly thump us with an inch to as much as 3 inches of snowfall before some sleet and freezing rain and eventually rain mix in from the coastline to inland areas. And that's going to happen roughly around 11 a.m. Maybe a bit sooner toward the coast and a little later farther inland. Travel impacts, obviously the worst of it will be in the morning through, I'd say, the late morning commute and in the morning time frame, maybe even through midday. By the evening, it still could be icy on some untreated surfaces along and north and west of Interstate 95, as well as interior southeastern Mass north of Interstate 195 with that freezing rain potential. Again, nice and quiet out there now, but the clouds are starting to work their way in as we look off toward the west. Our Iggy's Doughboys and Chowder House camera here. Warwick is at 30 degrees at Oakland Beach tonight. We see the clouds increase. You notice the temperatures are cold, though. We're in the teens, maybe even close to 10 degrees for some of us in the colder spots. 7 a.m., it's 21, and that's when the snow starts to move in. So we definitely have the cold air in place at the surface, but it's all about what's happening up in the clouds. As a little wedge of warmer air starts to mix in, warmer being the relative term, that means just above the freezing mark. That could start to work in around 5,000 to 6,000 feet in the atmosphere as we get into the mid-morning hours tomorrow as the system presses up toward us. High pressure moves east, and that feeds in a southeast wind off the ocean. That's where that slightly milder air is going to come from. Winter weather advisory is still in effect for everybody, still not in effect for the Cape and the Islands. The same story as last night. That advisory speaks to the potential for a couple of inches of snowfall. And there it is. I mean, at 9 a.m., it could be snowing at a decent clip across parts of the area. So travel at this time certainly may be at its worst, 9, 10 until 11 a.m. when we start to see some of that sleet and then eventually rain happen here toward the coast with that southeasterly wind. You notice that pink area, that's sleet, maybe even a freezing rain area working up through Providence into northern Rhode Island, southern Worcester County. And then the worst of this tends to slide to our east between 2 and 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So the evening commute should be a little better, but notice along and north and west of Interstate 95, temperatures are still near the freezing mark. So that's really where the most challenging driving will be, along north and west of the interstate, as well as interior portions of Bristol County, Massachusetts, and Plymouth County as well. Still thinking a couple of inches of snow, maybe a little bit less along the immediate coast because you're probably going to go over to mostly rain there fairly quickly. But just most of us get that chance of 1 to maybe as much as 3 inches of snowfall. And then that's the big issue right there. Again, some icy spots, say in southeastern Mass, talking like South Seekonk, eastward to Berkeley, Dighton, Rehoboth, Taunton, Raynham, all these areas have that potential of slipping and sliding. Mansfield, North Attleboro, and Easton, all of you in that portion of Bristol County, Mass. So just something to keep in mind. Not the biggest snowstorm, but for a few hours, it could be a little bit challenging on the roads tomorrow. Now, we'll catch a break on Friday and for most of Saturday, Tammy, but I've got another weather alert on there for late Saturday night into Sunday. That snow potential is a little bigger than this one. That one could certainly drop a few more inches of snow. So we'll be talking more about that as we go through the news tonight. Back to you.